It started with a dream to create a surfers' paradise, a patch of heaven in Fiji, right near one of the world's most legendary waves, Cloudbreak. Two Aussie mates, Navrin Fox and Woody Jack, obtained a 99-year lease on land on Malolo Island, and they planned a small and environmentally friendly resort for like-minded surfers. So imagine their horror and disgust when, right next door, bulldozers rolled in and started clearing everything in sight. The pristine rainforest, the spectacular reef, the sandy beach, all destroyed by Chinese developers, determined to build, of all things, a $100 million casino. But far from a wipeout, these surfers fought back.
There it is over there. So this is the reef pass that Freesol have dug illegally with no permits.
To create a channel that they weren't allowed to create.
That goes straight to our land.
It's an abomination. There's no other way to describe what Chinese development company Freesol did to this slice of Fijian paradise, starting with ploughing this passage through a pristine coral reef.
It's an absolute mess, you know.
Well, they're really cutting to that reef. Look, you can see that.
Oh, it's insane.
It's like an incision, isn't it? But Freesol didn't only bulldoze the reef.
So can we go through the gate to our land? No.
They also tried to bulldoze two young Australians off their own land.
Not allowed.
It's an outrageous story of violence, destruction and theft. Chinese colonialism at its worst.
And his reply was, F you, we're taking it. And I was like, what, our land? He's like, yeah.
And it's a fight not only on the beaches, or what was a beach, but also in the highest court in Fiji. As their lawyer, how would you describe the battle?
It's been David and Goliath right from the start, and they're fighting a battle that really should be fought by somebody else.
So just ahead of us now, that used to be your sandy beach, did it?
Pristine sandy beach.
The sandy beach was at the tree line.
At the tree line?
At the tree line.
So all that stuff there that we can see, all the grey stuff.
I mean,
That's dead reef.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. It's greed at its best. You know, it's horrible.
This nightmare started with a dream. Nav Fox and Woody Jack are two mates from the New South Wales north coast town of Angourie. For 2 years, they searched for a small block of land on Malolo Island with their Fijian partner, Jonah Jasiva, that was close enough to access the legendary surf break of Cloudbreak.
So here's Cloudbreak. It's hard to recognise right now because it's the smallest I've ever seen it, but it is one of the best waves in the world.
The best big wave surfers from around the globe race to Cloudbreak when a swell is forecast. It's this good. So imagine the joy when, thanks to Jonah, the boys were able to secure a 99-year lease on beachfront property relatively close.
you pull up in the boat, high tide, to a white sandy beach. It was just an idyllic setting. You'd walk up onto the land and it was a really dense tropical rainforest. It was, yeah,
Untouched.
untouched.
Pristine. It was special, eh, Wood?
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
You just know this is what anyone would dream paradise is. It was absolutely perfect.
Nav and Woody planned to build 3 modest, eco-friendly bungalows on the site, one for each of their families and Jonah's as well. They decided to make him an equal partner. From the highest point on their block here, it's not hard to understand how the boys came to choose this little patch of paradise. 4,000 square metres of tropical island with magnificent views, easy access to some of the best surf breaks in the world, and until the trouble started, a beautiful sandy beach down below. Then the Chinese company moved in. This was the trio's lease area, coloured in red, which ran down from the hill to the beach. It was dwarfed by the much larger block obtained by the Chinese company Freesol. They announced plans for over 300 bures, plus Fiji's first casino. Then, without warning, a year ago, they started digging up the reef right in front of Nav, Woody and Jonah's land.
First, they have no respect for us, for the three of us, when they just dig and do all the damage down there.
They've really ridden over the top of you, haven't they? Is that a crime in itself, having no respect in Fijian culture?
Yes.
What's happened to your beach, that beautiful little beach?
Our beach is gone. Our beach is 2 metres under road base, or coral road base.
So what, that was behind this barge?
Yep, up to the tree line there was the beach, and as you can see, it's non-existent.
Disappeared.
Gone.
That's incredible. Because they had no sea access to their leasehold, Freesol used the dug-up coral as a road base, covering the beach and running hundreds of metres up into their own property so the heavy construction equipment could drive in. They also cut down half the trees on the boys' property. A huge section of mangroves along the foreshore. And finally, to top it all off, put this fence up, cutting Nav and Woody's land in half.
This shouldn't be here.
What, 30 metres beyond this gate?
Yeah,
It's still your property. That's your property.
Correct, yeah.
Oh, that says private property, no trespass.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's,
head spinner, isn't it?
it's a head spinner, all right. It's unbelievable.
So they've done all this and then they've prevented you from coming onto your own property.
Yeah.
And they think that's okay.
Well, I don't think they recognised us. They didn't want to recognise us.
Pretty much ignored you.
100% ignored us.
Yeah. I mean, a month ago I was up here went onto our property and had a Chinese man telling me to get off. And I argued the fact with him going, this is our land, you go. And he was like, no, you go. This not your land. This not your land, you go. You get off our land. You get off our land. You get off our land. No. Get off our land.
A couple of months ago, Nav was on site with a film crew from New Zealand to document the damage.
Get off our land.
Why you come here? Huh?
This is our land.
When this employee from the developer Freesol repeatedly tried to eject Nav from his own land.
Hey, get off our
Why? Why you come here? Why?
Mate, get away. Get away. Just get away. The last thing you expect is for someone to come out and, start yelling at you and trying to physically remove you from your land.
I could see and hear the frustration in you because it was unfounded aggression from their side, wasn't it?
This is the kind of shit we've got to deal with. I was frustrated, but I just chose to go the higher ground. I'm a dad, so, maybe my kids can look at that one day and go, yeah, cool, that's the way you should act. That's full on, but it's our land, like.
And when he picked up the metal bar?
Yeah, I got concerned then. I thought, right, now's maybe a time either to run up the hill or look around at, something to protect myself with, What's he going to do, come onto our land and start hitting us with it? What the fuck?
Interesting diplomacy on a building site, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so stupid, It wasn't cool at all, It definitely worked me up. I didn't come here for this, I'm in Fiji. You know what I mean? I've come here to have a look at the land that we've invested in and doing the right thing with the Fijian family. It's devastating.
Coming up, how did the Chinese developers
Just starts throwing his fists around and smashing stuff up.
think they get away with it? Pretty sinister way of doing business, isn't it?
The problem is not just that they did it, it's that somebody let them get away with it.
And the hunt for the boss responsible. I'm looking for Dixon Peng. That's next on 60 Minutes. What's the story with the spiritual statue?
That's Buddha.
On illegally reclaimed land, the Chinese developer Freesol has placed this statue of Buddha in front of its fence and a no trespass sign.
There's not a lot of good vibes coming out of this, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think Buddha would approve of how they hijacked your whole project.
No.
We agree 100%.
What was, until last year, a beautiful beach with fringing coral reef and palm trees has now been ripped apart.
But what do you do when you're up against Goliath, you know? Like, we just had a little dream, you know, and we were like, wow, you know, some land in Fiji would be great. We're in the position to do it with a local guy, Jonah, you know, which was awesome. And then, you know, Goliath steps in next door and just starts throwing his fists around and smashing stuff up and going crazy. We were just like, whoa, what do you even do in this situation, you know? Like,
David fights back.
yep.
Bit by bit.
He's got his Shanghai out, maybe. He knows Fijian law back to front, so yeah, it'll just be good to see him, boys, all together.
So in fighting back, Nav Fox, Jonah Josiva and Woody Jack turned to environmental lawyer Dr. Ken Chambers in the Fijian capital of Suva.
In this letter, we copied it to the Prime Minister so he's aware of what's happening. When I first took the job in August, it should have been a quick, done, out the door in 5 minutes.
You think it was open and shut?
Yeah. Their claim is just obvious.
It appears that from day one, this Chinese company have deliberately flouted, ignored local Fijian law. Is that a reasonable assessment?
Yes, and they've got away with it.
Freesol was illegally excavating the reef, not in the back blocks of Fiji, but on Malolo Island, famous as being the crown of tourism here. And yet, the work went on for months, at times 24/7, despite 4 stop work notices.
That's the bit that really bothers me.
So this company was getting stop work notices
Yeah. Inspections?
from the relevant authorities,
Yes.
telling them to stop work,
Yes.
and they were using those notices, what, as toilet paper?
Yeah. And dumping it in the lagoon.
It's a pretty sinister way of doing business, isn't it?
The problem is not just that they did it, it's that somebody let them get away with it.
Are you confident that everyone in your department is not corruptible?
100%. Absolutely, I can say, to the best of my knowledge, none of them are corrupt, and in this case, none of them were corrupt. None of them.
Was somebody else in your government corrupt in this case?
Absolutely not. Not in this case.
Dr. Mahendra Reddy is Fiji's Environment Minister. Have you been to the island and seen the damage yourself?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Because your department's officials have been there, haven't they?
Yeah.
They issued 4 stop work notices to this company, all of which were totally ignored.
Yes, some investors think that they can, do these kinds of things and get away.
But does that mean your department has no teeth? Does the environment not mean anything here in Fiji?
No, that's not true. They apparently...
It took you a long time to stop it.
There's a process.
Last month, Fiji's High Court issued Freesol a stop work injunction and ordered the company to rectify the damage. We're still on your land here, aren't we?
We are.
But when we were there last week, there was no sign of any rectification works. Just 3 locals taking pictures of us to send to the Freesol bosses. Do you think Freesol, still think they can win?
Yeah, I do. I think they're just waiting for the dust to settle and they'll be back in then.
You think it's a waiting game?
Yep.
See who blinks first.
Yeah.
The Fijian-based director of Freesol is this man, Dixon Peng, an elusive character at best. Woody and Nav have only met him the one time.
His attitude was really disrespectful, you know.
In what way?
Well, we were introduced ourselves and he didn't even look at us. You know, we're like, we're your neighbours, we just like to have a chat to you about what you're doing here, and straight away he's like, oh, you're not worry, it's fine, don't worry, it's okay. He just sort of seriously trying to brush us off.
go, Freesol. Freesol's office is in the main street of Suva. But the doors, front and back, were locked tight when we turned up. Well, that office looks completely closed down at the moment, but there it is. There's the illegal development writ large on their office doors. 300 odd bureaus that they wanted across the water and $100 million worth of casino development. Dixon Peng also owns several phone shops, one just a few metres from the Freesol office. Hi. Who's managing the shop? Hi, how are you? We're from 60 Minutes in Australia. We're looking for Mr. Dixon Peng, please. He's not here?
Yeah.
Can you tell me where he is, please?
I don't know, able to ask on the shop, the manager.
Ask at the other shop. Do you know if he's in Fiji?
Not in Fiji.
You don't think he is? Eventually, we ended up at Mr. Peng's house in the hills above Suva. Hello. I'm looking for Dixon Peng.
Dixon,
Yes. Yes, Mr. Peng.
you,
From Freesol.
he's almost 2 months in China
He's in China
with his wife.
with his wife. Ah. So you look after his house for him?
I'm a private security here.
Oh, you do the security. Okay. Dixon Peng may have gone missing here in Suva, but there's a long trail of bad blood left behind. Take, for example, this letter he wrote to Fiji's Department of Tourism, in which he complains about what he describes as the white man. 8 times in 3 pages, Mr. Peng criticises the white man for dobbing his company in to authorities. He urges the tourism boss to ignore the white man, the Aussie surfers, and let him get on with it and build his resort. What did you think of that?
Thought it was pretty racist first. I was like, yeah, going, who actually writes that in an affidavit when it's not even the issue at hand and just puts a slur on someone like that? It's unheard of. You know? Like, it's 2019, like, who does that?
That whole letter from start to finish is incredibly racist. You can't read it any other way.
It's a fair bit of animosity, though, isn't
Oh, it's horror. It's just horrifying.
it? And is that reflective of the way this whole thing's been going
Yeah.
against Woody and Nav and Jonah?
Yep.
This was never a battle of their choosing. Nav, Woody and Jonah just wanted their own little patch of paradise. Instead, they've had to lock horns with a Chinese juggernaut.
Just no respect for us as their neighbours, no respect for Fiji, no respect for the Fijian law and the Fijian people. To me, it just seems like it's all about money. Like, build the resort as quick as we can, get it up and running, and bring in the planes and let them start gambling.
They're underdogs, and they should never have been put to fighting a battle that should have been fought by somebody else. They've spent, their life savings doing this. The legal expenses on this thing have just been through the roof.
It's the mouse that roared, though, isn't it? I mean, they're
Yeah.
up against millions of dollars.
Yeah. They should get medals, these guys.
So what happens now is anyone's guess. Freesol can never restore the reef or the beach to its original beauty. But incredibly, after all this destruction, the developer may yet get to complete their resort. As to Nav, Woody and Jonah, they are in limbo.
I'm allowed.
But one thing is certain. Freesol picked the wrong blokes to push around.
When do you stop doing the right thing? Like, as a person, when do you go, oh, I'm just going to roll over and stop doing the right thing?
But it doesn't mean you're going to win, does it?
It doesn't mean we're going to win, but we're not going to stop doing the right thing.
This isn't over yet, so we need to keep pushing forward and keep respecting Fiji, and and fight the good fight.
Hello, I'm Liam Bartlett. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.